Some memories don't age. They just sit there quietly in the corners of our minds, not gone, just waiting. I was born in rural Oklahoma, the kind of place where the woods are thick and the dirt roads could seem endless. We lived in a trailer tucked deep in those woods on a little road called Thornbush Trail. My sisters and I, we'd spend our summers playing outside and get lost in imaginary worlds. But even in imagination, there's some things you can't make up. Like the voice. I remember the first time I heard it. I was out playing by a barbed wire fence. It marked the edge of our property line, and beyond that was just woods. From those trees, I heard it. A soft voice, calling my name. It was gentle, almost kind, but behind it there was a weight. Almost like something smiling with too many teeth. I ran. Straight back to the trailer I ran. I shut myself in my room, and it'd be a long time before I ever told anyone. But that voice, it wouldn't stay behind the fence. It kind of became this shadow in my life, showing up when I'd least expect it. Always calm, always soft, and always calling. Time would go on, and the voice would fade, like a bad dream that you're finally starting to forget. But I remember it was summertime, and after lunch, my mother had put my sisters and I down for a nap. I lay there, too restless to sleep, pretending to drift off, and then, there it was again. That voice. So quiet, and so close. Only this time it wasn't coming from the woods. It was coming from right outside, by the rope swing near the back door, near me. I remember that dread hit hard. I wondered, how could it be here? I was inside with my family. They say nothing bad can get you when mom's around. Or so I thought. It never told me what it wanted. It never had to. It just kept calling. Like it was inviting me to play. But every cell in my body knew if I went, I wouldn't come back the same. So I stayed silent. The news will tell you that people who hear voices are crazy. And I surely didn't want to be crazy. Days would turn to weeks and weeks to months, and the voice again had just kind of faded into the background of my life. Thinking back, I don't think it was till the 4th of July that I'd heard it again. I remember I was so excited. Sandy dirt patches and the smell of gunpowder. I had a pocket full of ladyfingers. They weren't much more than a crack, but to me as a kid, they were nothing short of dynamite. I set myself up at the front of the trailer in an area where I had once found a small arrowhead. It was just a small bird point, but it made the whole area seem magical to me. Almost safe. But today was about fireworks. That was the only thing on my mind. I lit one. Pop. I lit another. Crack. And right when I thought I had shaken that fear from my bones, the woods reminded me. They never forget. And neither does the voice. It was soft, gentle, and unmistakable. And it was calling my name. I turned to look at my parents. They were smiling. They hadn't heard anything. How couldn't they hear it? Then again, it called. It was closer now. It was coming from the side of the trailer. It was more like a lullaby on a breeze. It was almost soothing, almost kind. But something about it felt wrong. Telling myself it can't be real, I lit another firework, trying to focus, trying to will it away. I remember a battle of fear and excitement. And fear would win that day. My excitement fizzled as the voice whispered once more, my name. Now, through all this, I still had my escapes. running the creek with my dog, carving out fishing poles, and catching grasshoppers for bait. I had joy, I had childhood. Even with the fear, I wouldn't trade those days for anything. But one night, it would find me again. I remember it was late and dinner had passed. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet where you can hear your own breath. I was tucked into bed, pillow just right. There was a soft glow from the hallway light coming through my open door. Then I heard it. It was 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. I sat up. It didn't make a lot of sense. My door's open. I naturally assumed my sisters were just playing a joke on me. So I called out to my middle sister. And I got silence. And then, knock, knock, knock. I started to get nervous, so I whispered my eldest sister's name, hoping for a reply, but only knock, knock, knock. It was just the sound. Always 3 knocks and always silence after. This sound was real. I could feel it in my chest. This couldn't be in my head. I wanted to believe that it was a prank, and there was no way I was letting my sisters get the best of me this night. So mustering up all my courage, I said, "Come in." The door slammed shut in darkness. It just swallowed the whole room. But I knew I wasn't alone. Behind the door, there was a faint green glow, and I remember limbs like arms and legs, and it leapt out and it pinned me to the bed. It was the same voice. It was the same dread. I panicked. I was paralyzed in that moment. I remember I tried to open my mouth and I tried to scream, but there's no sound. This terror wasn't in my mind. This is real. This is physical. I wondered, where was my family? How could they not hear the door slam? How could they not hear me struggle? I kept trying to fight, but I started to wonder, am I gonna die? And it's strange, my mind went back to Sunday school when they told us that our friends and loved ones would be on the other side to greet us. But mine were in the other room, alive. Who would greet me? Still, I couldn't move. It was getting harder to breathe. I tried to scream, "Let me go," but I don't feel those words pass my lips, nor do they ever grace my ears. In that moment, I felt the weight get heavier. It was leaning in. So close, I can still feel its cold breath on my face. So soft, so gentle, and so familiar. It spoke my name. It pushed me further into the bed. I started to lose consciousness. I remember I told myself, I can't. As it calls my name one last time. A whisper was almost a lullaby. And I fade.